Well, it's our favorite day of the week, the day we check into Project Fit and hopefully give you some information to help you on your journey as well. Maggie's here with me. You're looking great, by the way, Maggie.
You look really good too, Cheryl.
Thank you. And as well, we're joined here by Dr. Mary, our amazing life coach, who is going to help us continue to unpack why we do the things that we do. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, last time we talked about triggers, and you helped us get to the root of why we do the bad choices that we do.
Yes.
And then you kind of left us hanging. I was like, well, okay, fine. Like, I know why I do it now, but I'm still doing it.
I had to have an invite back. That's the problem.
Well, we're so glad that you came back. So today we have a lot to get through today.
Yes.
We may not get through it all, but it'll all be on our website at crossroads360.com. We're going to talk about ways we can cope with the triggers in our life or the things that make us eat.
That's right. Before we begin, I just want to check in with you too, see how you're doing. This is kind of a good point, midpoint, where you do a bit of reflection, you know, how far you've come, but what have you learned about yourselves through this process?
I've learned a lot. I think probably one of the main things I've learned is to listen to my body more. A lot of health concerns have come up in doing all of this. I've, learned more about my Crohn's, which many of you at home might know about, and learned that I have high blood pressure. So a lot of, just learning about my body, listening to my body. I know you said, Maria, and I love this, you said celebrate the greater level of self-awareness that you have accomplished. Celebrate those baby steps. And I think self-awareness is a huge thing. As we talk about triggers, why do we eat what we eat? Why do we have those triggers? It's all about just being more self-aware and understanding our bodies more. So that's been for me,
Yeah, I think for me, it's been surprising what a big piece this is, this life coach. I mean, when I started this, I was like, we have to have a life coach because we have to deal with why we do what we do. But really, like, understanding what a big piece it is, I think, sometimes, like Maggie and I could say, like, we're so busy, we don't have time for any of this. But I think what I'm learning through this process is, like, there's choices you're making, there's boundaries that you put up in your life, and how much do you value yourself? Where do you put yourself in that list of agenda? And for women, we are so at the bottom of that list usually. It's like everybody and everything else, right? And then add people pleasing on top of it and performance and all those kinds of things, and it gets very murky. And so just being intentional about taking this time out of our lives to unpack that and say, what's really driving it? Am I really a victim of my life, or am I the person who's actually driving my life? And where are the areas I can retake control and make better choices, even amidst a busy schedule and lots of demands on me?
Right. And the really neat thing is you're learning about yourselves. It's not just about better health, it's just better life altogether. Just feeling like you have more in control, better boundaries, greater self-awareness, being intentional about taking care of yourself, not just your body, but your emotions as well, which is really, really key, as we've talked about before.
Yeah, it feels like it's going to benefit us in a much bigger way than just this fitness journey.
And life is a journey, right? And it's a process, and we keep working towards it. We're definitely not there yet, but you've helped us get on that track. So today we're talking about, I love this, the change menu.
Yes.
Mary, you're talking about different points that we need to be aware of. And one of those points is nurturing ourselves. Treat yourself to something every day.
Yes.
Which sounds easy to do.
I know.
And you've been challenging, I'm pretty sure you've been challenging Cheryl. I know you've been challenging me to treat myself.
Hard.
It is so hard.
It's so hard.
I know. And why is that though? What's going on in you that makes it difficult for you to nurture
Well, I think
yourself?
Cheryl hit it right on the head.
Yeah.
I mean, as women, we tend to put everybody before ourselves, right? And it's almost seen in our culture like it's taboo to put ourselves first and say, no, I'm gonna.
That would be considered selfish.
Yeah.
I feel guilty
Yeah.
by putting myself first.
Right. I don't believe it's selfish whatsoever. I believe it's actually honoring God, honoring your body, honoring your health. And healthy boundaries, God is a God of boundaries, so why would we not have boundaries ourselves?
Right.
He does say no sometimes.
Yeah, she has a good way of saying these things.
I know. Well, part of that is controlling your thought life too, and
Yes.
sometimes it's that negative self-talk, the guilt that you feel, or that you should be doing this, should be doing that. And I love what you said, and it made me laugh because Megan and I were laughing today about last week you told us to do, or last time you were here, you told us to do HALT. Whenever you're hungry, my hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, right? You want to just jump up and yell it, which we both commented we have not done that with each other at
Really?
work.
Oh, okay.
I've actually thought it, but I haven't jumped up and yelled.
Okay, well, thought it. It's good. That's a start.
No, I don't even think it's that true.
You guys got to get noisier. Come on.
No, well, now you want us to yell stop. So when you're thinking a thought that you shouldn't, negative self-talk,
right.
you want us to jump up, clap, and shout, stop.
Yeah.
But she says to do it in a quiet,
Well,
place it's not in front of everybody else.
Well, if you can do it in front of others, kudos to you guys. They'll be like, what's going on? What are you doing? And then you can explain, and then you can help.
It's actually cognitive training though, right?
It's completely, and that's sort of key, is really tracking what's going on in your mind. We have so many thoughts that flip through our brain on a daily basis, and they influence us. And if we're not tracking them, then for sure they're actually controlling what we're doing. A lot of negative self-talk. Oh my goodness, that's huge, especially for women. We're so self-critical. And if we're telling ourselves several times a day that we're stupid or we're fat or something negative, then how's that going to help us emotionally, and how's that going to help motivate us to make any changes, right?
Being aware of what you're thinking.
Exactly. And so that whole thought stopping, it really is to track your thinking and then to say, stop. This is not at all profitable way of thinking. I need to put a stop to that and replace it with something that's more positive. So as an example here, I want you guys to not think about a stop sign.
Not think about a stop sign.
So what's the
I
first thing that
actually
just
visually saw a
exactly,
stop sign.
exactly.
Not even like,
so
yeah.
when you do thought stopping, you can't just say stop it, stop it, stop it, and just by sheer willpower say stop it. You actually need to replace it with something positive. You know the verse in the Bible, finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is lovely, excellent, praiseworthy. That's biblical counsel that we can't just keep our minds empty of thoughts. We have to fill it with positive thoughts.
You know, one of the things I love about this journey is that, you know, we're not doing any kind of fads. We're not doing like, you know, a shake that we're going to lose 50 pounds overnight or whatever.
Is there one? Is there?
Sign me up. Yeah, you have it every day for the next year.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like we're actually doing the hard stuff, right? This is
Yeah.
like the slower, harder way to do it, but it's hopefully more lasting.
Yeah, and I think that's why, I know we only have a few minutes left, but follow the 80-20 rule, I think is huge. Because what you're saying is 80% of the time healthy foods, but allow some leeway for that 20%, so that you know you're not beating yourself up. You have that piece of chocolate.
Exactly. I mean, that's that. Many people who try to lose weight, they get very rigid and legalistic, and it has to be done this way. And of course, we're going to fail because we're human. And so when we fail, then we beat ourselves up, which makes us feel worse, which makes it much more likely that we're going to reach for that chocolate. Or we say, well, the day's shot anyway. I might as well eat whatever I want. I'll try to be perfect tomorrow. And then we have the same situation happen.
And you're in a
over and over
deeper
again.
hole. And that's the kind of thinking that actually can get people involved in eating disorders, right? When
right.
you're just so hard on yourself and you're so black and white that actually you start thinking wrong thoughts.
That's right.
I know, Dr. Mary, you've talked about this, and our nutritionist, Juliana, has talked about not depriving ourselves of certain foods, but being, you know, smart, obviously, in your day-to-day journey of eating healthy. But yeah, not beating up yourself if you have that piece of chocolate. And just the language that we use when we say, oh, I can't have that, or I can't have that. I think mentally for me, it was like, oh, those are kind of off limits. And once I realized that nothing is off limits, we just have to be wise about our decisions, be self-aware, then it was like, okay, all of a sudden I don't really want those foods all the time anymore because they're no longer forbidden. They're just a part of just being smarter and self-aware, more self-aware of ourselves.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, you have this incredible list of 10 things. I think we've unpacked 3. So there's so much more on crossroads360.com. If you're interested and you're joining us with Project Fig, go ahead and read that. There's a number of different blogs that Dr. Mary's done that will help you so much in your journey. Dr. Mary, we appreciate you so much. You've been lent to us to come here from your group, Life Care Centers,
Yes.
right? And tell me just quickly about that.
Well, we're a practice of about 20, and we specialize in a whole bunch of different areas. They're a fantastic team of people, and that's what they're called to do, is to help people. We're all Christians, biblically based counseling.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it's things as practical as losing weight to dealing with some of the root issues of why people might end up with eating disorders or issues like that. So
Awesome. Well,
You
we're
can go to our website for further information about Life Care Centers.
lifecarecenters.com, right?
That's right.
Centers?
centers.
Centers.com. Well, we're so thankful that they've lent you to us for this project, and we so appreciate you and all that you do for us.
Well,
Thank you so
thanks
much.
for having me here.
And like we said, go to crossroads360.com. There's all kinds of tips and information there to help you on your journey to fitness.